How y'all doing? This is Judge Lynn. I hope you're all right. As you can see, I have a cold still. This is like the fourth cold I've had in 2025. And I went to the doctor and everything. Blood work is fine, except for my cholesterol level, which is always, I got to do something about that. But if the blood work is fine and all that, I'm just getting sick a lot. And I was thinking about it because it's unusual. I usually don't get sick this often. And even since the 2 years since Eric's died, I wasn't sick. And I think I was on such a, everything was a battle, everything was a fight, everything was, the house started falling apart and he was gone and my kids were falling apart and I was falling apart and I was just been fighting. Then I had that problem that I can't tell you about that just was overwhelming and it was all day long. And then that problem receded earlier this year. And I think my body just said, sit down, I'm tired. That's what I think happened because I was like this all day long. And I would get like this about real problems, and then I wouldn't be able to get like this about small problems. I would get like this about small problems because I got all that cortisol and adrenaline in my system just floating around looking for something to do, get anxious and upset about and hush, I'm not in the mood. And all of that. And then, so I said, wait, I got to slow down. And that's when I realized what my problem was. I had lost my pace, man. See, I'm like a sprinter. I see something I want to do. Bam, 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 wow, let's go. If I see something, it's going to take too long. I'm going to do something else. My husband can just, he was a distance man. He would go the distance. Never got tired. He could persevere. He was really, really good at it. And sometimes he persevered too long on the wrong trail. So that's my job was to tap him back. I said, yeah, perseverance is good, but we're seeing this isn't working. So let's go shift because I'm a big on shifting. If it ain't working for me, I will shift. And I probably shift too soon. But anyway, I probably shift too soon because he used to tell me, you quit too easily. But I don't know. There's so many things that can work out for you. I'm not going to spend too much time with things that aren't working out. The real reason I came here is because I had some unfinished threads. I'd been talking in other videos, and I would start a story, and then I would get distracted because I'm a tangential thinker, and some people asked me about two threads that I left dangling, which is the rare Vito and the fine honey, what it meant. Oh, okay. The rare Vito was I was messing with Decker, and I think that's when I turned my phone around on my TV, not my phone. I'm on my computer, on a photo booth. I'm low tech and slow. I know, but anyway, I was messing with it, and I was talking about the rare Vito, and the other rare thread I left out there was fine honey and what I meant by it. And both of those things are processes that me and Big E used to use so we could just get along. And the rare Vito is, we both tried to let the other person do their thing without a whole lot of don't do this, that. We tried really, really hard. But if one of us was about to do something that the other one simply could not abide, we could throw out a veto. Now, the trick to the veto is it has to be rare and it has to be meaningful and it has to be used by both parties equally, So you can't veto, if you veto twice in 5 years, you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? This is how we worked our thing out. And it was really good because we rarely had to use it because we usually could find a way to figure it out beforehand. And one of those ways was Another thread I left, which is fine honey. Remember the other day I was telling you the story about me and in court calling the defense counsel honey because I had just gotten off the phone with my husband and he was annoying me. And I was like, fine honey, and hung up the phone. Now, mostly when people say something like fine honey, they don't mean it. That fine honey means I'll do it, I'll accept it, but I'm mad about it, I'm hot about it, and I'm going to behave. But the thing I learned, and my mother taught me this, cranky compromises don't count. If you tell your husband fine, you need to mean it. So if you say fine honey and you're annoyed and you don't mean it, get right with it before you get back to him. In other words, you got to be true to your word. If you say you're fine with it just to shut him up, then you have to be fine with it. And if you're not fine with it when you said fine, you have to get fine with it. As my mother taught me that one. That one worked so beautifully because I would give him fine honey. You don't mean that. And I said, remember the other day when I said fine about that? I said I didn't like it at the time, but I did it. And he learned what fine honey meant. Oh dear. Telephone. I'll answer it later. How do you make it stop? In real time? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. 3. That's somebody who knows me well. Yeah, so you gotta be true to what you say. And then you can train them that they know what you mean when you say what you say. I don't think I understand that, and I just said it. But anyway, those were the 2 threads that I left and that I didn't finish, and there they are. And they were just ways that we figured out how to have fewer, less discord and arguments. Then I want to answer a question. Somebody else asked a question. She's the one who called the dating life an apocalyptic wasteland, which I just thought was brilliant. Apocalyptic wasteland. And my sister said not about a month or so ago, you need to get back out there. No, I do not. First of all, still in love. Still talking about him all the time. Now I got him back, I can talk about him and not cry. So I'm still in love. Disrespected by the canine, but still in love with the husband. So I ain't getting back out there. And she was saying she's 37, had no kids, and wondered, hey, people are always telling you, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? And she's not quite sure what's going on and what she should do. And, I can't really tell you. I got married because I really wanted children. I mean, that's, usually when I was young, I used to think men were more trouble than they were worth. You know what I mean? I was raised in the 60s, and some hard, I lived in a community of a bunch of professional black guys that came out of World War II and bought land out in the cow pastures in Columbus, Ohio, because they weren't allowed to go into nice areas, other places. And those dudes, they were in World War II. They were doctors and lawyers. And you're not a guy who's born in 1919 go to war, work at a coal mine, and then become a lawyer. I got the coal mine and the war backwards chronologically, but anyway, and not be a bad dude. And they were all like that. And it was a no-nonsense community. And Uncle Charlie, Uncle this is that and the other kind of thing. Why am I telling you this? Oh, I was talking about I want to see all that. Um, oh, I don't know why I was talking about that, but let me just get back to the question, which is, what to do. What are, and I don't really know because you know how much you want them and what you're well educated, obviously. She's just and the only thing I could think of to say was there's a lot, you don't have to make them new. You can always take care of ones that are always already here. So you can get babies, I think. But black babies, I think, are available. I do. Historically, that has been the case. I have not researched it recently, but that's another avenue you can think about. Because you raised a couple of things, and all of them made sense to me. Is you just have to decide what it is you want to do. And you don't have to worry. Well, doing an analysis of what you need, what you want, what you feel, and what problems and circumstances, and then that'll help you pick an avenue to pursue. Oh, I thought men were a lot of trouble. And yeah, because those dudes were gruff and rough, and they weren't taking no prisoners. And for what reason did that happen? They were rough and gruff, and they weren't taking any prisoners. So I mean, you didn't talk back. You did well in school. That's what that was. And I didn't want to get married when I was a young lady in the early going. I just thought it was a bad deal for the women. I did. And then I said, I'm going to be my father. I was going to be a doctor. I had to switch the law at the last minute because I just screwed around in college and didn't do anything. And still bad. I apologize to my parents though because they paid for it. And but anyway, I thought they were problematic and scary, and also because I went to an all-girls school. And then I just shipped off to college at 17, and it was like, oh, good Lord. You want to do what? Is that? No. I mean, hey. But once I 25, the desire to procreate descended on me. And I said, I got to find a dude. And I found one. Actually, I didn't find her. A girlfriend found her for me. It was a person I had never met her before. Her name was Stephanie Tubbs Jones, and she was a judge. And we were at an event, and she looked at me. She had never met me before, and she said, "Do you have somebody?" And I said, "No." She said, "Come with me." I knew who she was. I knew she was a judge, but she didn't know me. I'd never been in a courtroom. I just knew. And her husband was sitting next to the man I married. And she said, Eric, and she introduced us. This is Lynn, this is Eric. And she says, she drove me home that night. And she said, when you two get married, I'll do it. I want to perform the ceremony. And I was like, And son of a gun, 2 years later, she was saying I do to the two of us. I don't know how I got into that story either. But anyway, there you have it. Those are those threads. I did not help you at all, Miss Lady, who had the apocalyptic nightmare statement about dating. I'm sorry. I just remember my story. And I just consider all the options and all the ramifications of each of the options, both economically, emotionally, this, that, and the other thing. And don't expect to have. A lot of people often believe that if you stumble on the right thing, it'll be, yeah. And sometimes you kind of humble up on the right thing and you don't know. It's not a clear sign. you know? So, logic it out, puzzle it out. It was no help. I apologize. And I made y'all sit through it with me. Terrible. But anyway, y'all have a good day. I hope I picked up those threads. I hope I didn't leave too many new ones. And I will try to get rid of this cold and talk to you soon. Bye.